Welcome to the Velvet Room. It seems we have a guest with an intriguing destiny. My name is Golden Weeb. Pleased to make your acquaintance. This place exists between the internet and a web browser, a website, and JavaScript. It is a room that only those who are bound by a subscription may enter. It may be that such a fate awaits you in the near future. Now, let's look into your future, shall we? Do you believe in fortune telling? Each reading is done with the same cards, yet the result is always different. Life itself follows the same principles, doesn't it? Ah, the r/AmITheButthole card. That is the subreddit we will be checking out today. Well then, how about we begin? This question is called, Am I the butthole for telling my girlfriend she can move in with me, but not her cat? My girlfriend, let's call her Anna, and her family adore cats. They have 5 cats, and she knows I don't like cats, but it's not a problem. The problem began when we were talking about moving in together after the pandemic is over, or at least under better control. She lives with her parents right now, and I have my own apartment, but I moved in with my parents again due to lockdown, and we missed each other. My girlfriend wants to move into my apartment because I got really lucky and pay very cheap rent for a pretty big and nice place, and it's close to the university she goes to. At first, I told her that's great and maybe she can move in this summer. She got really excited and have since been daydreaming about life together. Then she told me how excited she is to bring her cat with her. I was taken aback because this was never mentioned before. I don't want the cat in my apartment, not due to my dislike for cats, but because I have too many pets. I have 3 gerbils. They're 1-year-old and can live up to 5 years. I love those little guys with all my heart. Right now they're staying at my parents' house, but when I move out, they're coming with me. My mother can't stand rodents, and I'm happy she even let me bring them. I told Anna that I don't like the idea of her cat living in the same place as my gerbils. I fear the cat is going to try to break in, and gerbils are really delicate and could die from a heart attack. I know that their cats hunt and kill mice, so I feel like this is a real concern. I can't put my gerbils in another room. Their terrarium is huge and only fits in my hallway, and if I were to lock the hallway, the cat could only stay in one room, which I think is cruel to her. Anna immediately suggested to get rid of the gerbils and let her cat stay, since it's a much smarter and, according to her, more important animal, and compared my gerbils to goldfish who don't know what's going on. I understand her being disappointed because she had been so excited, and I was too, but I can't give away my gerbils. We've bonded, and so many people treat smaller animals badly on accident due to ignorance. I asked her why she can't let her cat stay at her parents' house. It's in the same city, and her parents love cats. This angered her, and she called me selfish and cruel, because moving to my place would make her life easier, but I'm forcing her to choose between me and her cat, and that I couldn't understand the bond between her and her cat, because my pets are dumb rats. I was upset and told her that she is still welcome to move in if she wants, but her cat can't move in, at least until my gerbils pass away. Everyone is now telling me that I'm a butthole for prioritizing small animals over my girlfriend and getting her hopes up that she could move in with me and then crushing them because I won't let her cat move in as well. Am I the butthole for not wanting her cat at my place? Well, OP, in my opinion, you are not the butthole. It's your place. Why should you have to give up your hamsters for her to stay at your place? But that's just my opinion. Viewers, press the little bubble in the right hand corner so that you can vote if this guy is a butthole or not. I rate this guy a 0-star butthole. This question is called, Am I the butthole for not donating my eggs to my dad and my stepmom? Also, going no contact with my stepmom? My dad, 58, divorced my mom, 58 too, 10 years ago. She got custody of me, 24 female, because she made more money and is able to provide a stable home for me. My mom never remarried. My dad remarried my stepmom, 441, 2 years ago, and she's a very nice woman. They're very much in love and there are no hard feelings on any side of the family. At the beginning of the year, my stepmom called me to tell me that she's heartbroken because she can't have bio children. She and dad have been trying, but they couldn't conceive because she was infertile after many doctor's visits. I think she didn't want to accept that news, so she went to others to have someone tell her that the tests were wrong. While I'm close with them, I'm not comfortable with knowing that type of intimate detail. Stepmom told me she's looking into vitro? And she's always wanted a child like me. I don't consider myself special, but she wants me to be a mold for a biological child. She asked if I could consider donating my eggs and use dad's sperm to make a child with the closest DNA match to them. I don't understand her logic. Dad is obviously against it, and so is mom. But stepmom doesn't think it's wrong, cause it's not like we're f***ing. This dropped on me after a week of back and forth between us. She wouldn't let it go and wants me to reconsider. I was super uncomfortable when she mentioned using my eggs and my dad's sperm. Then it reached inappropriate when she insinuated that even sex crossed her mind. She roped my dad's side of the family in the matter. They're religious with old beliefs and believe in patriarchy. Dad doesn't have an heir to take the family name because they don't see me as worthy of being the head of the household. They've been bombarding me with messages and calls for my selfishness, saying I'm depriving a good woman of a chance to be a mother and I'm denying my father's right to have an heir. Mom and dad agreed to one child. The family is accusing mom of shoving her Western independence viewpoint on me when I was a child. I've since cut contact with that side of the family and stepmom. I'm too sickened by the thought of it. Things are awkward between dad and me, so I went low contact with him. Now I'm starting to think I'm making a big deal out of it. She's right, we're not doing anything incestuous. I know I have the right to say no, but I'm really guilty for crushing my stepmom's heart. But am I overreacting by blocking my stepmom too? Lay it on me, Reddit. I built a thick skin for my dad's family. It'll hurt differently from objective strangers, but I need it. Am I the butthole? Edit. Stepmom's 44, not 441 years old. Many of you mentioned the legality issue. My stepmom is from the same country as my dad, and she shares similar beliefs with his family religion. I'm not aware of a lot of details of her plan. She only asked me to donate. I should have put in that she wants the child to have her country's citizenship, not the US citizenship. She has access to IVF in her homeland, but I didn't think it would raise many comments about legality. It's why I mentioned my dad's family's patriarchal beliefs. Dad, stepmom, and his side of the family only have green cards. They have access to their country's healthcare, but she's not letting go of the possibility of me. I didn't know the laws of their mother country. I was born here and I never stepped foot in the other country. I couldn't put the info in due to the character limit. I'm so sorry about missing information. Okay, this was just kinda gross. No, OP, you're not the butthole. Like, what the heck? That's literally incest, and in the US, it's illegal to do incest. Like, what the heck? Anyways, I rate you 0-star butthole. I rate your stepmom, let's go 4-star butthole. This question's called, am I the butthole for choosing the wishes of my husband's ex over his? My husband has a daughter who's 6 years old. We've been married for the last 3 years. His daughter and I have an okay relationship. His ex-wife and I are civil. She isn't too difficult to deal with. Her and my husband will usually co-parent well together. They're having a disagreement over daughter's hair. It's long, about 2 inches past her shoulders. She has thick, beautiful hair. The problem is that it kinda knots easily. My husband hates brushing it after baths. He recently told his ex that he wants to cut it off, up to her chin. She told him that she didn't want to, as she loves daughter's hair. Also, she said that her and daughter have a ritual every night where she brushes and blow dries it. To be honest, his ex takes great care of daughter's hair. Anytime she brings her here, or we see them out, daughter's hair is always well groomed and clean. My stepdaughter is the ex's only child. We have 2 more children, which makes bedtime a little bit more hectic. We always brush her hair, but not as much as ex does. My husband thinks we should just cut it on our time and his ex will get over it. I used to be a stylist, so I do know how to cut hair. My husband has been pressuring me to cut it. I told him no, as I think it would cause problems with his ex. Plus, when I asked daughter about it, she didn't seem excited by the idea of cutting her hair. I think this is a hot button issue, and I do not want it to cause unnecessary drama with the ex. My husband keeps pushing the issue and told me that my loyalties are in the wrong place. I guess I'm curious if others think I'm wrong for standing my ground. Edit. Some people asked why I don't just do her hair. I do try to take care of it when I'm home. I work in the evening, so I'm often not there for bath time. I've tried to teach my husband easier ways, but he just doesn't seem to listen. I'll work with her more to comb it out herself. I'll be honest, I don't think this person's a butthole. Personally, I used to have long hair, and like it was like down to my shoulders almost. And just one day my parents were like, alright, well, you're cutting it off. And I'm like, why? And I had shorter hair. I've been trying to grow it out, but it just won't grow out to that length anymore. So, I'm not a girl personally, but I mean, I can see why the little girl wouldn't want to cut her hair, because like, hair is cool. It's like you get to do it yourself and something like that. I don't know, I'm just rambling. OP gets a 0-star butthole. Her husband gets a 3-star butthole because he hasn't done anything drastic yet, but he's kind of just pushing his wife to just, it's not good. On to the next question. This question's called, am I the butthole for insulting my mother over her overly strict parenting? My parents have always been very strict, and I don't know why. I do well in school, play an instrument, do other extracurriculars, etc. I've never snuck out, gotten drunk, or done drugs either. I'm not allowed to lock/fully close my door unless I'm sleeping. My mother also looks to my room often, and when I ask her to stop and grant me some basic privacy, she states that, as a teen, I don't deserve any. They've also been strict with my usage of devices. I've never been allowed to use my devices at night. I have to charge both devices in my parents' room. Ever since I've gotten a phone, my dad has regularly looked through it without any reason. His fingerprint is on my phone to unlock it, and he also set it up so that all my screen time activity is visible to him. A few months ago, my parents decided to randomly look through my phone. They looked through everything and found old messages between me and some friends they deemed inappropriate. It wasn't anything bad per my standards, just some inappropriate humor. I tried to explain that it was a joke and apologized, but they were furious. My dad told me that I could no longer use my devices in my room, and instead had to use them in the living room where they could see what I was doing. Over time, my dad's pretty much forgotten about this rule and rarely enforces it, but my mother hasn't. She literally makes it her priority to enforce it. When school moved online, they let me use my laptop in my room for school. I still couldn't use my phone in my room, and I was supposed to move back to the living room when I was done. I didn't like having to get up and leave my room just to use my phone, so I used it in my room anyways. Whenever my mom saw me with my phone, she'd get mad and tell me to take it out. Now, all my mother does is ask me where my phone is. If she can't visibly see the phone in the living room, she'll assume that I've taken it and that I'm using it in my room, even if I'm not. She'll interrupt my school calls to take my phone out of my room. I don't do anything bad on my devices, and it's not as if I'm hiding anything from them. I just want to be able to chat with friends and do schoolwork, etc., alone. Today, I was messaging a friend in my room, and my mom came in and got mad. I was pissed, but instead of brushing it off, I blew up and insulted her. I called her a lunatic, and a horrible parent, etc. I wasn't just upset about that one time. I was sick of all her antics and her constantly violating my privacy. The fact that she rarely trusts me makes me not trust her and reluctant to talk to her. Our relationship isn't bad, we still have fun together, but I feel like we don't have a great relationship. I feel as if I may have overreacted and hurt her, but this has been an issue for a while, and she's never tried to listen. I've suggested alternative ways to monitor my online activity and explain why her rules damage our relationship, but she never listens. Am I the butthole? Well, to be honest, I have experience in this. Both of my parents are like this, and growing up, it wasn't that easy. So, in one hand, yes, you kinda are being the butthole, but at the same time, you're just defending your own privacy. But that's just my opinion. I'm not a parent. I'm very overprotective of my little sister, sure, but I'm not her parent or anything. So I'll be honest, I can't really judge this one. I just have not enough experience, quote unquote, to be able to give an opinion, in my opinion. SS Tryhand down in the comments says, not the butthole. There is, of course, obviously an element of having to acknowledge that you're still living under your parents' roof, and to an extent, need to abide by whatever rules they set. But Jesus Christ, they've gone overboard in trying to control what you do for absolutely no adequate reason. And the ironic thing is that in doing so, they're likely pushing you towards ending up doing the very things they're trying to stop you from doing out of spite. This isn't a healthy or effective parenting tactic when performed to this degree, and they're entirely out of line in what they're asking of you. This question's called, Am I the butthole for kicking my mother out of the house? I'm a 26-year-old female, and I was born in Nigeria, but eventually moved to the US. I have a 5-year-old son who I had outside of marriage. And if you know African parents, you know they disowned me. Very recently, I rekindled my relationship with my mom and sister, and they came to visit me in January. The first few days were alright, but my mom tried to interfere with my parenting. It's worth mentioning I'm completely dependent on myself, and the father is in no way involved with my son's life. So I try my best to make sure my son is always okay. My mother offered to replace the babysitter, and I agreed. COVID happened and lockdown, so I started working from home and spending more time with my mother, sister, and son. I noticed my mom spoils him too much, but I didn't say anything because, well, she just got involved in his life, and it's her first grandson. I'm on my laptop doing some work, and my little boy comes in asking to take my phone to play. I told him his screen time was over for the day. He throws a tantrum, and I say no very bluntly numerous times. He starts screaming, crying, and telling me my mother is better than me. My mom walks into the room and tries to persuade me in front of my son. At that point, I got very frustrated and felt disrespected. Again, I say no means no. I made sure my son knew the meaning of this ever since he was younger. My mom then stares and says,
"Oh, don't tell me you're teaching your son all this feminist talk."
I tell her that it's my son and I choose how to raise him. Now at this point, to an African parent, it's like I just committed 3 homicides on the spot. I'm never the type to talk back to my mom or any elder like that, but she was getting on my nerves. She then proceeds to tell me that's what the West had taught me, and she regrets ever giving me the chance to leave Nigeria to become this person she doesn't even recognize anymore. I value my morals so much, and I'd never willingly put anyone at that situation, so I just sucked it up and apologized. A few days later, I found her instigating my son against me and constantly telling him not to take me seriously, and if I say no, he should just insist more and he'll get what we want. That was too much, therefore I told her to either stop interfering with my personal choices on raising my son, or she's welcome to leave my house. She got so angry and screamed at me, packed her things, and left. I have no idea where she and my sister are right now, but I know they have enough money to keep them going through these days, so I don't feel guilty about them not being with me. I thought about it too much, and I think I'm compromising my culture and morals since I've came to America, and I'm not sure I did the right thing. My aunties from back home all called and showed disappointment in what I've done. I tried to dial my mom, and she completely ignored me. And now my son doesn't want to talk to me and refuses to eat and says I'm the bad guy. OP, let's be honest, you are not the butthole at all. Okay, your mom was instigating your son against you. That's next level messed up. I give you a 0-star butthole, but I give your mom a 5-star butthole. This question's called, Am I the butthole for snapping at my mother-in-law and saying she's pushing me out of my child's life? My wife and I have been married for 3 years, together for 5. She is currently pregnant with our first child and we have been excited. My mother-in-law and wife have always been close. Mother-in-law raised my wife as a single mom. Mother-in-law was also raised by a single mom. Mother-in-law didn't actually tell my wife's dad that she existed, and to this day, he doesn't know. My wife has no interest in knowing her dad, so she says that it's not a huge deal. I respect her wishes, but it has led to issues with the pregnancy. Mother-in-law and I had a decent relationship until my wife got pregnant. Even before she got pregnant, mother-in-law would always say,
"When wife gets pregnant, if you leave, I will be there for her."
And since we told her, it's been a reoccurring theme. It has been made clear by mother-in-law if I can't take it and leave her daughter, she will take my place and parent my child. I have no plans on leaving my wife or my child. And really, the whole thing has driven me crazy. My wife has said,
"I know you're not leaving."
But she says her mom feels that they know best with pregnancy and child rearing. I'm worried about being pushed out of my child's life, and that it's a wish from mother-in-law that I will just up and leave, so she can swoop in and be the child's dad. I've told mother-in-law that I'll never leave, but she says,
"You don't know how hard it'll be."
Recently, we were on Zoom, and mother-in-law said something to the effect of her being the dad if I left. I told her no, I'm not, and she needs to cut it out. She said I won't get how hard it is until the baby's born, etc., etc. I said yes, and that's just what you want, for your daughter to be abandoned and sad. That's pretty sadistic. This offended mother-in-law, and apparently my wife too. Apparently, I don't understand that mother-in-law has abandonment issues because her dad left her. I said I sympathize, but she cut one man out of knowing his kid, my wife's dad and her, and now she's doing the same. They're painting me as the devil here. Am I being the butthole? OP, you are definitely not the butthole in this story. Like, your mother-in-law's trying to kick you out of your son's life before he's even born. Like, come on, OP. You get a 0-star butthole, but your mom gets a 5-star butthole. Participant 1 in the comments says, not the butthole. Your mother-in-law is toxic. Your wife needs to stand up to her and let her know that you are and always will be the dad. Mother-in-law is projecting her own issues on you and is ruining what should be an exciting time for you and your wife. She seems to feel entitled to interfere and needs to back off. Well, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, give that like button a gentle tap. And if you didn't, do it anyways. Please consider subscribing and please give that bell a ring to be notified when I update. Thank you so much once more and have a golden day.